person from the richest 0.1% produce more carbon pollution in a day than someone from the bottom 50% produce all year. That's probably why Bill Gates said, and I quote,
"It's the greatest con job ever perpetrated on the world."
Que tem para agir está se fechando rapidamente.
Somebody is lying to you. Either your government, your social media feed, or maybe even you or Bill Gates. We'll get to Bill Gates, but first let's start with an analogy. Imagine an indestructible bathtub, but if the water reaches to the top of this bathtub, it breaks into pieces. So how do we keep this bathtub running forever? The fix is obvious, right? Keep the water below a safe line and shut the tap if it starts overflowing. Simple logic, but somehow our leaders don't seem to get it. In 2015, nearly 200 countries promised to keep the Earth warming below 1.5 degrees Celsius till the end of the century. We already crossed that threshold in 2024, the hottest year on record. If you're thinking it's just 1.5 degrees Celsius, what's the fuss? Fair, but the impact are already brutal. In the past year, land area larger than India, around 3.7 million square kilometer, was burned globally in wildfires. Coral reefs, which supports roughly 25% of ocean species and help dampen nearly all waves, is showing signs of mass bleaching and facing near extinction. Also, climate crisis may cause 14.5 million deaths and more than $1 trillion loss by 2050. So what is global warming? The rise in Earth's temperature over a long period of time is global warming, because Earth absorbs sunlight and reflects what it doesn't need back into space, but we've thickened the blanket of greenhouse gases around it, trapping that heat inside. What will happen if we keep increasing that heat? At 3 degrees Celsius, coastal cities may drown. At 4.5 degrees Celsius, the Amazon rainforest could disappear entirely, turning our greatest carbon sink into a carbon source. This is not speculation, it's projection, science, and observation. So what causes global warming? You might expect no intelligent species to destroy its home, right? But we wrecked Earth not by being stupid, but by being extremely intelligent. Since around 1840s, after the Industrial Revolution, we burned fossil fuel at scale to mass produce products, inventions, engines, technologies, this t-shirt, these chairs, this camera, and so many countless other things we use today. Sounds great, right? But what's the price? Carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is 50% more than it was before the Industrial Revolution. Also, a person from the richest 0.1% produce more carbon pollution in a day than someone from the bottom 50% produce all year. Handful of companies are responsible for roughly 71% of emission. That's probably why Bill Gates said, and I quote, "Although climate will have serious consequences, particularly for the people in the poorest country, it will not lead to humanity's demise. Biggest problems are poverty and diseases." You know what causes poverty and disease, Bill Gates? Causes are mostly greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide from burning fossil fuel and deforestation, with some natural spikes like wildfires and volcanoes. Now, new drivers are also emerging. AI data centers and big tech facilities consume more power and water than some small nations. Global conflicts and militaries also add substantial amount too. If US military were a country, it would rank about 47th in emission, and conflicts like Russia-Ukraine, Israel-Gaza, Sudan and Congo account for nearly 5.5% of emission. If that were a country, it would rank 4th in the world. What are our leaders doing about it? Most countries missed their Paris deadline. Some even didn't submit reports. In 2017, US President withdrew from Paris Agreement and called climate action the greatest con job ever.
It used to be global cooling. If you look back years ago in the 1920s and the 1930s, they said global cooling will kill the world. It happens, there's climate change. It's the greatest con job ever perpetrated on the world.
After him becoming the president, major US bank quit UN Net Zero Banking Alliance. Scotland scrapped its target of cutting emission. New Zealand trimmed its target of methane reduction program. In India, ethanol blending E20 policy, promoted partially through a company tied to a senior minister's family, has provoked debate. Despite a 4,600% stock surge of the company, fuel prices and old engine remain nearly unchanged. Global coal use hit record high in 2024. In some places, your electrical vehicle and appliances still draw power from oil and coal-based plants. But there are good actors too. Brazil is taking visible role and hosting COP30 near Amazon.
A janela de oportunidades que tem para agir está se fechando rapidamente. A mudança do clima é resultado das mesmas dinâmicas que ao longo de séculos fraturaram nossa sociedade entre ricos e pobres e dividiram o mundo entre países desenvolvidos em desenvolvimento.
European Union and South Africa and countries like China and Singapore are pushing policies toward greener energy, yet the visible efforts remain fragmented. Most countries are not on track to limit global temperature. Humans think they can control the climate thermostats. That's the problem with climate policy. What most probably will happen now? Soon society will stop trusting its leader and denialism may actually win. Over the next 10-20 years, climate will be the top concern of governments, businesses, and the people. It's going to dominate all your news. In the next 3 or 4 years, 1 year is likely to surpass every heat record. Even if we stop emitting greenhouse gases today, we will still face some disaster. What can we still do as individuals and governments? In 1965, scientist Claire Patterson took on the petrochemical industry and helped remove lead from gasoline. A win for intelligence to protect public health. We need that same courage now. Governments, please turn off the fossil fuel tap as soon as possible to limit the irreversible damage. Protect forest and plant enormous amount of trees. Rich countries who have used earth the most should finance the poorer one to adapt and shift to a greener future. Regulate big corporations. Climate finance and sustainability should be a legal obligation. Prepare for disaster. Disaster is coming, either you believe it or not. Fund research and cut plastic and chemical pollution. For individuals, plant trees. If you can't plant, donate to NGO who can. Stop polluting. Hold your leaders accountable and shift to a greener future wherever you can.